Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where and when you're watching this broadcast. I'm Thomas Fessler, my friends, and this is Disclosure tonight. Happy Friday, October 1st, actually October 11th, 2024, as we come together as a community to talk about those things that we call UFOs and all things disclosure. Welcome, everybody. Good to see you here. Yeah, I'm back. A little time off is sometimes the body needs time to heal, which it's still doing, and fun road ahead for all of us. So on that note, let's take a look. Oh, did I load the soundboard? No, I didn't. Let me do it one more time. Let's go ahead and light this up. There it is. Start the drums. Wow, it's even loud for me. Sorry. Yeah, blew out my ears too, friends. All right, here we go. Who the heck do we have out there? Let's take a look and see. Who do we have in our audience? Well, I got to click this button and find out who our participants are. Would you look at that? We have A. Phil is here, Albert McLeod. Brian Pemble is around, along with Christine Lynn. Good to see you, Christine. Eddie's here. Eric Roth and the Gurus, Firefly, Flat Sticks. Frankenstein, J-Cat, Kathy, King Bull, Lon, Paul Damon. Rick Doty's here in the chat, and he's in the back. Can't wait for his update. Robert Vargas is around. Who else do we have out there? Oh, yeah, Stephen Forbes Jr., Super Unknown, the Chromosome Cowboy, and Tony D. And I know she'll be showing up any minute. Kelly Broughton, those piercing blue eyes. You can catch it on the replay, Kelly. But let's, on that note, go ahead and switch our minds over. And let's take a look and see who we have in the back. Well, we have a dear friend of ours coming all the way from Bristol, United Kingdom. Let's go ahead and welcome in Mr. Andy W. How's it going, Andy?
Hi, Thomas. Oh, hang on. There we are. Yeah, you just caught me. Literally just switched on. Hello. Hi, everybody. Good to be back.
Good to see you, my friend. Absolutely. Also, would you look at that, coming from the desert Southwest, Mr. Brian Pemble. How's it going, Brian?
It's going great, Thomas. Thanks for having us, and good to see Harold here, and obviously Mr. Doty in the back. It's going to be a great show.
Oh, yeah, I definitely think so, my friend. Absolutely. Turn that down a little bit. Who else do we have? Well, if we've got our remote viewing targeter, let's welcome in Laura Campbell. How's it going, Laura?
It's going great, Thomas. Glad everyone's feeling good and we're not underwater here. I feel sorry for everybody, and it's been a crazy couple weeks.
Did you have a chance to see the aurora this last week?
My friends, we're going to go out tonight with my special lens, and my friends have been sending me pictures.
It was last night and the night before.
Yeah, and I think we're going to see some tonight as well.
Oh, really? Nice. It's
Yeah.
one of those things, frickin' they've seen it down in Mexico and past Cuba. So it was pretty powerful. Thanks for coming in today. Laura, also, would you look at that? Our dear friend Harold, Hollywood Harold, is here. How's it going, my friend?
It's going awesome. Awesome. I made it through another day, so I'm ready for some disclosure. I've been locked up all week, man. I missed all my good news and podcasts and stuff. So
Yeah.
I need your guidance tonight.
Oh, thank you, my friend. Absolutely. And it looks like you've got the Aurora Oval up. Is that a 3D model of it, or wow, it looks cool.
Yeah, it's my website I built here to watch the solar storms and stuff.
Oh,
It's got X feeds on it and everything else. I put the link in the chat, I think.
Oh, there you go, friends. Absolutely. Be sure to check it out. Well, if you take a look at that, I'll turn the world upside down, and let's look for someone else who also saw the aurora down in Australia. None of your business, better known as our Susan Ford. How's it going, Susan?
It's going pretty good, Thomas. I'm glad you're back on deck, and it's wonderful to see the gang. Look, we've got the Brady bunch back again tonight. We're all here. It's wonderful.
I know, isn't it? It's a great
Very
opportunity
excited.
to talk about disclosure.
Yep.
All right, who else? Let's take a look. We have Syrup here. It's been a while, my friend. How you doing?
I'm doing good, Thomas. It's going to be an interesting show tonight. I know we have some pretty cool stuff to talk about.
Oh, I know, absolutely. And we have another one of our ladies come from the East Coast. Let's welcome Tia Loreno. How's it going, Tia?
Hey, Thomas. Nice to see you. Glad you look good.
Yeah, thanks.
Like the
Appreciate it.
haircut.
Yeah.
Nice and clean cut. You look handsome.
Thank you very much. You look gorgeous as well, my dear lady.
Well, thank you. It's good to
And-
see you home, Hollywood Herald.
Yeah, I had to twist some arms and stuff to get out of there. They wanted to keep me for another day or something, and I said I don't feel like, another $300 to lay in bed.
Yeah.
I'd go home and do that. Right. Good to see you, Tia.
I hear that. Good to see you're in good health.
Absolutely. If we will turn off that music and get to the point. Mike, are you there, my friend? He may not be. He may have some family stuff going on. Let's move past Mike and bring in our top guest tonight, Mr. Rick Doty. How you doing, Rick?
I'm doing great, Thomas. I'll explain my MIA status, missing in action, for the last 7 weeks or so.
Yeah.
And so, well, what you want me to go now and explain?
Sounds like you've got some things you want to talk about and clarify and everything else.
A lot of things. To talk
Oh gosh,
about.
yeah.
First of all, about 7 weeks ago, I received a very serious threat on X. It was probably the worst I've ever had. I've had a lot of them. Anyways, it was detailed of what this guy was supposed to do. And so I immediately contacted X Security, and they did an absolutely outstanding job. They got right down to it. They pulled every single IP address this guy was using, and within about 18 hours, they had the guy identified. They canceled every one of his accounts. I think he had 6 or 7 accounts, different names, different screen names. And he lives in Falls Church, Virginia. X contacted the FBI. I didn't initially. It took the FBI, unfortunately, a long time to even consider this serious. I did. When it's detailed and knows where I live and my street and so forth, I considered it serious. I even notified the local police and the state police, who I used to work for. So, anyways, the guy, when he was finally, he wrote a letter to X because he couldn't contact them in any type of computer way or online way, and the letter simply stated that he went above and beyond. He admitted it. He's sorry, but it wasn't really. I don't think it was taken serious by the FBI until they went and talked to the guy, and I don't know what they're going to do with it with him. Probably nothing, but transmitting a threat like that over the air is a federal offense, as a Title 18 violation. So,
right.
Anyways, again, this is still in the phase of them investigating it, and so I've kept low. X suggested that I do, and I not bring up any of this stuff until after their investigation's over with, which I have. I haven't said it. I haven't told anybody. So anyway, that's one reason why I wasn't around. The second reason was I went back to Washington, D.C. I wasn't supposed to tell anybody. We had a fantastic meeting, both with the Advanced Working Group and with the Senate staffers. This is going to be probably a positive as far as I'm concerned. They brought in 6 they call them, this isn't my words, Senate staffers' words. Mm-hmm. They brought in 6 controlled whistleblowers. They interviewed them over a period of several days. They got their stories, and now they're going to have hearings, hopefully on the November 11th and or the December 9th. Now, I think some of this was released in the Washington, D.C. area today, but or maybe it was yesterday. But anyways, there's a movement. There's a good movement, a really, really, really good movement within Congress right now. They're going to wait till after the elections to do anything. So because the Congress and the Senate's not going to convene back until after the elections. And of course, it'll be a lame duck session, but they hope to have some hearings on either the 11th of November, which I think is a Monday, and December 9th. I think that's a Monday too. And that'll be set up with, I don't know how many of these 6 whistleblowers. That's going to be up to the Senate, obviously. But 2 of them are going to be probably the information that they give will be earth-shattering. I guarantee you that. It's not going to be, it's nothing that's been released before.
So this is in addition to the person who, I wonder if we're going to get the one who came out with the eminent constellation piece.
Well, we all know who, well, I say we all know. We within a certain circle knows who this guy is. And he certainly is somebody that would know, be speaking from a professional standpoint. So he would know about this. Now, speaking of Immaculate constellation, I wasn't the first one who brought this up, but when the news broke about the I think Shellenberger broke the news through Russ Colhart that the Pentagon has a program called Immaculate Constellation,
right,
that was created a long time ago dealing with reverse engineering. Well, when that came out, I didn't hear that initially. Somebody sent me a long email and said, they just stole your thunder, Rick, because in 2006, I spoke about Immaculate Constellation. I spoke about that in 2006 and again in 2012. In fact, the United States Air Force colonel also spoke about it. Unfortunately, we didn't go into any details because we knew that it was classified. That Immaculate Constellation was still classified. But what you're going to hear later, and maybe this is breaking news, is it's morphed into something else because there were other programs associated with Immaculate Constellation, such as Immaculate Polaris, Immaculate Photon, Dynamic Chest, and Dynamic Zeus. Those are programs that are still classified, not the names of them, not what I just said. The only one that was classified, the name of it was Immaculate Constellation. That was considered secret. Just the naming of the operation was secret. So I don't know how much more this guy is going to talk about, but he's unfortunately he's not one of the whistleblowers that Congress is going to bring out in either November 11th or December 9th. Mm-hmm. But he is a very well-known person within the intelligence community, and he would know if the Pentagon, the DOD or Pentagon or the DIA was working on this particular program. He would be in a position to know it. So look for those future hearings, either on the 11th or 9th of December, and I think there's going to be more brought out about it. Now, I have to give credit to somebody else who's talked about Immaculate Constellation, and that was Dr. Greer. That was brought up in 2015 by Dr. Greer. He was in a round table discussion on the subject of UFOs, and somebody on that round table discussion, a former, and he's not a retired Air Force colonel. He was a former colonel. He left after 15 years or so, but he didn't retire. But he went to work for a contractor who was giving him twice as much money that he was making than he was making in the Air Force. But anyways, he talked about Immaculate constellation. He worked for Raytheon. And so this particular program was involved many other contractors, not just the Pentagon, but DARPA contractors. I don't know how much of it's still classified, so I'm not going to go into great details. It was crash recovery and reverse engineering analysis of items found in a crash. But some of these other operations that were morphed into it were specific programs dealing with energy, weapon systems, and other things associated with recovered NHI technology. So that's what I got.
Yeah, lots of stuff going on. That's to say the fact. I mean, we went from, if you want to call it, absolutely no news, nothing, not a lot of stuff to talk about, to where it seems since Lue's book came out, it's just pumped a lot of more energy back into this system. Yeah. All right.
Oh, yeah. I think Lue's book, which I've, believe it or not, read a third time, and I found more information in there I did the first two times. Anyways, yeah, I think that it was a push start to energize the disclosure movement. And we have to thank Lue for that, because however you want to take that book, it did contain a lot of good information. And then since that book's been out, he's done a number of interviews where he brought up other things that he had access to while he worked in counterintelligence within the Pentagon.
Yeah, absolutely. It's amazing times, and I'm glad to see it's moving forward. Lue has done a lot. I know he says he doesn't want to be the leader. He kind of gets off to the side, but the fact of the matter is, it's the role that he's in, and it shows things happen when he shakes the tree, which is a good thing. It's about time for that. All right, we've got a bunch of news clips here, short ones, longer ones, and everything. I want to go ahead and play back with regards to everything that's been going on. Let's start with a little short clip here from just Shellenberger talking. Is this the one I've got down here? Well, okay, this is part of the interview, I think, between Ross Coulthart, potentially, and Michael Shellenberger. It's a short 2-minute clip. Let's go ahead and bring this one up and have some fun and check it out. Where is that at? Desktop, video. Here we go. Move it. Yeah, of course I did. I always do. Okay, so Michael Shellenberger discusses his bombshell article on new whistleblower revelations of a Department of Defense UAP crash retrieval and reverse engineering program called Immaculate Constellation. This is what Rick and I were just talking about a second ago, which has been illegally withheld from Congress. Again, hidden in the executive branch. Something we've been saying here for a while, Rick. It's the executive. Everyone wants to point at the DOD, and it's like, no, this is a much bigger thing that's going on, and it's within the executive branch. That is, there is the organization, but they may or may not read the president in, because the executive branch succeeds from administration to administration to administration. So there's something that's part of that branch that was created to control over this stuff. Okay, let's play this clip. Here we go.
A new whistleblower has come forward with a written report that this person has shared with some members of Congress and with me, and the report is quite extraordinary. It says that there is an unacknowledged special access program called Immaculate Constellation, which is the parent program, is the language used for exactly what you said: UAP, crash retrieval, reverse engineering, and apparently a very large database of high quality photographs, videos, infrared videos, apparently much more sophisticated documentation of many more UAP encounters than have been released. And so the article is really about the allegation that this program exists and that it has been withheld from Congress illegally. I think it's important for viewers to understand that the first article of the United States Constitution requires congressional oversight of all of the activities of the executive branch of the United States government. So whether or not you think there are extraterrestrials or non-human intelligence or anything, even if you think that all of this is just some sort of advanced craft, the allegation here by a new whistleblower verified by other sources in a position to know is that the Pentagon the Defense Department has kept secret this information from Congress, which is a violation of the Constitution and illegal. So I think that what we're looking at here is really a story about the abuse of power, including in potential disinformation from the Pentagon, just as much as it is this other question of what exactly are people seeing in UAPs.
Yeah, all right. I can talk about this one. Syrup, you've got your hand up, and then I want to talk about something a little bit here. And I think this is alluding to it.
Quick, this program is keeping everything under wraps, right? They have all this radar information, all this information, but Congress can't access it. So with this, I mean, what's the point of having Arrow if Arrow can't even, nobody can get access to this stuff? Is that convenient? Is it convenient? Is that done on purpose, or?
Well, it's a good way to manufacture doubt right now, isn't it?
Right.
Yeah. And that's the kind of stuff that we've been hearing coming out of, particularly out of Arrow, has been everything to say it's anything and everything but. So the only time we really got good information out when it was before it was Arrow. It has good intentions, but look who it reports to. Have a report to the executive branch, not to the stooges in the DOD. Have them be in there on behalf of the power of the presidency. Give them the power they need.
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that.
Yeah. Now, one way that was described to me about what potentially was going to be coming forward would cause a constitutional crisis in our country, unlike any, bigger, more powerful than anything we've ever had before. So this could be the tip of that. This could be, the start of something bigger. And I'm looking forward to it, honestly. All right, no one else has their hands up. All right. Is this the whole thing? All right, so I've got a interview here coming from Ross Colhart on talking about Immaculate constellation. Let's go ahead and bring this one up. Sorry about the blurry video. It's the best I could bring together today, but it's better than not. So let's get that video up here and start it up. Here we go, folks.
NewsNation special correspondent Ross Colhart. Ross, good morning to you. Give us more. What more do we know about the whistleblower and this Immaculate constellation program?
Well, good morning, Marky. And firstly, it's multiple whistleblowers that are backing this account. I'm aware of allegations that this particular whistleblower has gone to Congress and given this evidence in a report. It's a very lengthy report that details and is supported by other people with knowledge of this program, alleging basically that the RO, the Pentagon's UAP investigation office, and the Pentagon have illegally withheld from Congress knowledge of a secret UAP retrieval and reverse engineering program, and more importantly, that they are aware of a large body of information about UAPs, particularly human intelligence, photographs, videos, and they're a very high resolution, much higher than we're used to from these blurry pictures we often get on TV. And I think the key incident that's the most extraordinary is there are allegations made in the report that one of the top-line fighters in the US, the F-22 Raptor, was actually boxed in by as many as 3 to 6 orbs and forced out of an airspace area.
The other thing, Ross, that caught my eye because I was reading Shellenberger's piece was also that a former intelligence official, maybe it's also another one of the whistleblowers, I'm not sure, confirmed the existence of this program, but adding that it's run out of the Secretary of Defense office, and also warning that whoever even talks about it is put on government radar and is put in the danger zone. That's ominous, Ross.
It is. It's very ominous. And look, I should note the Defence Department has issued a statement formally denying categorically that there is any special access program, unacknowledged, waived or special access program that has the terms Immaculate constellation. But frankly, there are multiple sources backing Shellenberger's story, and he's sticking to a story and saying he knows he's right. So really, it's a matter for the Pentagon now, because they're going to be questioned. There's going to be hearings in the Congress. People are going to be deposed and asked questions. And if they have lied, there's going to be a reckoning.
Do you feel like where there's smoke, there's fire, Ross? You know, and what would be the harm if a program does exist? What would be the harm for the government coming out and saying, you know, we actually do have a department that looks at unidentified objects
such a good question.
For national security purposes? I don't get it.
Such a good question. I, for the life of me, Marky, do not understand why we cannot be told what I strongly believe is the case, that the United States is in possession of non-human technology. Because, like Mr. Shellenberger, I've been hearing the same stories from people inside the legacy program. And I think it's time for both presidential candidates to maybe think about fessing up and telling the truth to the public for once in a while.
All right. That was a good one, to say the absolute least. Oh my God, actually have two there. How about that? Let's get back into this right now. Let's, where am I at? Okay. I just brought up a different screen on that I'm used to seeing here right now. So let me just go ahead and unpin that, go back to where we're at. And now I'm on the wrong one. Okay, here we go. Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm a little bit out of it. Welcome back anyway. All right. On the heels of Shellenberger talking about the Immaculate constellation, we've heard a little bit of him talking about it. We've heard Ross Coulthart talking about it. This is something big. I mean, we've got basically someone coming out, Rick, potentially on this one, who's actually confirming what David Grush had said over a year ago at his hearing. What do you think?
Yeah, there's so much more to this that I learned, and I'm kind of hesitant to go into it, but I'm not going to go into anything specific. But according to this one whistleblower, actually the second whistleblower was just deposed by Congress today. I think earlier, maybe it was yesterday. Anyways. If the Pentagon was to open their filing cabinets and open up what they have regarding Immaculate Constellation, or the reason I'm almost positive, the reason that the Pentagon says, no, we don't have Immaculate Constellation, the name was changed. There's a different program. It's the same thing, but it's just they named a different program. There's supposed to be 600 photographs, 190 videos, 240 reports pertaining to crash, retrieval, and recovery. Acquisition, and this is a sensitive one right here, acquisition of NHI technology from foreign countries, 1,000 radar signatures, frequency intercepts. And this one, I think, when I heard this, it kind of blew me up. I mean, it really almost blew me out of my chair. Voice recordings of NHI that we got. And now that might not just be Immaculate Constellation, because there's others involved, other programs involved, like Immaculate Polaris, Photon, Dynamic Chess, and Dynamic Zeus. Now, some of these, I have to go back and give credit where credit deserved. As Linda Howell talks about this several years ago, about Dynamic Zeus and Dynamic Chess. So if we have all this information, I can understand why the Pentagon doesn't want it out. Number one, sources and methods. How did we get all this stuff? Some source and method we obtained all this stuff. Just like if we and we did this, I know back in the 80s, we bugged the Kremlin. And so we were getting all the voice intercepts from the Soviet Politburo. Okay, that's highly classified, although it was in a few books that were written years later. So sources and methods of how we got all this stuff, I think that's one reason the Pentagon will never admit. They'll come back with, which I just got, I sent a FOIA request up to the Central Intelligence Agency and got a response back, and their classic responses in accordance with Section 3, Executive Order such and such. The CIA can neither confirm nor deny the existence or non-existence of records responsible to your request. Meaning it exists, but we can't give it to you.
Yep.
So I think I know right now, I actually submitted a FOIA request today online. You can do it online through DIA for anything pertaining to Immaculate constellation. I probably won't get anything back, but so that's how things work. I don't know. I can't imagine the Pentagon's coming now and saying, I mean, privately, they probably will some way. But let me explain something about what Shellenberger said about Article 1, Section 1 of the Constitution. If an intelligence officer goes to the White House and briefs the president on something they're doing, that satisfies it. Now, it's up to the president of the United States to go to Congress, because remember, the executive branch reports to the president of the United States. So the director of Central Intelligence isn't going to go to front of Congress and tell them things that are highly classified. They're going to go to the president first and tell the president. Now, it's up to the president that says, okay, I'm designating you to go to tell Congress that. Well, that might not be what happened, but there's always a way around that Article 1, Section 1 of the Constitution.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much. You know, I just realized my my chat stream is not bringing up the data for people who have given us super chats at all. So on that note, I really want to quickly thank Brian Pemble for your super chat. You had a question for Rick, actually. Rick, did the Immaculate SAPs absorb OSAP? Any thought on that?
I don't know. Yeah. It's a good question, but I don't have an answer to that. I don't know.
Absolutely. I also want to thank another super chat that came from Anonymous Rex. Thank you very much for $1.99. And Ian Harding, happy Friday disclosure tonight, everybody, for $20 American. Thank you very much for all your love and support of everything we do here. Every dollar that comes in disclosure tonight goes back into our production fund. I'm so humbled and thankful. Now getting Syrup, you had your hand up, my friend.
Oh, I just wanted to point out real quick, I'd seen some on Twitter. Someone posted it and they used Google to find this out. In 2023, when David Grush testified, right after he testified, people in Dayton, Ohio, near, I think it's Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Google searched the Immaculate constellation. Am I saying it right?
I was just about to bring that up, my friend.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and bring it up. My bad, Thomas.
On the point that what Syrup was just bringing up, yes, we've got a story here coming from Breaking Points that was covered earlier this week on Twitter, but there's a good breakdown of it where they went to Google Analytics and looked for, okay, when did anybody search about Immaculate constellation? It just wasn't recently. It was in the past, back in 2023. So let's get into this one next episode of Breaking Points. It's a little 8-segment clip. Let me go ahead and get that in here, move it up here. Sorry, around. I moved it around. Okay, let's go ahead and get this one going, folks. Here we go.
New report from journalist Michael Shellenberger. Let's put this up there on the screen. Everybody stick with me. The details are important. So, new government whistleblower reveals for the first time the quote, the name of an unacknowledged special access program for the unidentified anomalous phenomenon, otherwise known as UAPs. So, the name of that program program is Immaculate Constellation. Why does this matter? The name of the report, named in the report by this alleged government whistleblower, is specifically the name of the program for quote-unquote UFO retrieval that was launched after 2017. Now, to be clear, the Pentagon is denying the existence of said program. The Pentagon said that they have no record of any program known as Immaculate Constellation. I will get to in a second why that matters and specifically why it is total bullshit. But the reason why, if you look at the overall existence of this, is it centers on Congress. So people will remember that I was at that UFO hearing, which was led by multiple members of Congress. You had the testimony of Dave Grush, who was the UFO whistleblower, about the existence of these programs that he had seen and had got and pushed through the Inspector General. Well, since then, what has since happened is more ramping up, Crystal, within Congress of questions specifically around the Grush allegations, the DOD and the Inspector General's report. Now, what they have found is basically blocking at every turn, and this is from the congressmen themselves. I believe that they are trying to get another hearing in the works, but the point is that this report and others like it from Grush are giving congressional investigators and members of Congress the ability to try and to search for very specific types of things through FOIA, through records requests, and by having names and others, it's very important to be able to dig. The historical analogy I would use is the only reason that we ever learned about many of the shenanigans that the CIA and the FBI were up to under the Church Committee was specifically because some, and I'm not advocating this, but it wouldn't be the worst thing if it happened, is some people broke into a FBI facility and they stole these documents. From them, we had the names from these CIA programs, like what happened with the Black Panthers, like the LSD experiments and all this stuff. And thus, the Church Committee and members of the press and others were able to use FOIA to actually go and to look for what all that was. If that had not happened, there is no Church Committee and there's no revelation about what happened. That's why the name of this program matters a lot. So
yeah, so Ken Klippenstein has talked to me about this before because he does a lot of FOIA requests. And by the way, it's also obnoxious. Like, you have to have a lawyer. It's not something that an ordinary citizen or even an ordinary journalist without a legal backing behind them can engage in, because they'll just completely stonewall you. But part of the key of a successful FOIA request is you have to be able to ask very specifically for what you want. And so if you don't know the name of the program, you'll be fishing around and they can just say, no, don't have anything that meets that. Okay. And so that's why knowing the name of the program, so that you can actually make an effective FOIA request that they are legally obligated to fulfill in some manner after some period of fighting you in court and whatever, that's why this is important.
Could take a decade. Yeah. So I want everybody to understand this. This is not all going to come out immediately. Now, Michael actually was on the Joe Rogan podcast just yesterday. He broke some of this down. Let's take a listen.
In that report, they claim that that the Pentagon is illegally withholding information from Congress about a secret UAP program. And that secret UAP program is considered a parent program of other programs, but it's called Immaculate Constellation. I was told I had it confirmed by a second source that this is the name. I also was told that if we revealed the name, that we would probably get under surveillance.
If I wanted to spread misinformation or disinformation, if I was an intelligence agent, I think I would get someone to be a whistleblower. I would sanction whistleblowers. I would tell them, go on podcasts, go on radio shows, go on television, and discuss all these different disclosures. And you can't tell them everything. Your top secret stuff, some stuff you got to keep secret. Boy, I wish I could tell you, but there's more I can't tell you. There's a lot going on. And that's a really good way, I would think, if I was in control of a narrative that I wanted to be continuously slippery. This is a very slippery conversation. You never get to the end of it.
And what would be the motivation?
Because there's some sort of a program that exists that they want to hide, and the best way to hide it is to continually bring up and then debunk these fake programs.
I'm comfortable saying I'm 95% that the government is hiding information.
Okay. So,
and the reason I'm so confident of that is because Donald Trump said so multiple times, that they're hiding information. And I cite him in the article.
They probably told him that. And also, they lied to him about a bunch of stuff.
Oh,
and
sure.
Didn't even tell him about Chinese drones because they were worried he was going to shoot him down.
So they told him something that he says has not been made public to the American people. So if that's so, my view is, look, if you think it's either a secret weapons program, that it's a government disinformation program, that it's just missightings, then I want the government. They have an obligation to tell us.
Yeah, so that it's a good pushback. But anyway, I'll get to a little bit. Now, remember when I said that they had no record of the Immaculate constellation? That's what the DoD is claiming. Get this. So when Dave Grush came forward in 2023, and this Google trend should not exist, it just so happened that there was a massive spike of people searching Immaculate constellation right next to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio. So again, this is a term which nobody knows. Nobody's out there searching Immaculate constellation. What they were worried about was that the name of that program had been leaked under Grush, and they were searching those people around that area for the name Immaculate constellation. Whoa, it so suddenly and shockingly appears there in Dayton, Ohio. So I think that's evidence there of something going on for why were so many people right around this Air Force Base just searching for this miraculously, especially a base that's well known within that. I think what this does is it gives us a quiver into something to actually for Congress to begin looking into. And that's part of the problem. And I understand, I guess, where Joe is coming from, but he needs to understand like what pressure that Grush himself is already under. I mean, the guy's life is being investigated to high hell by the U.S. government, basically lost his job. There's no incentive for a lot of these people to come out. Additionally,
yeah, there's a lot of incentive to not come out.
The incentive, they're destroying him. I mean, remember they leaked that whole thing about his PTSD incident and all of that? Like, he has talked about having threats to his life. I don't know if it's true or not, but that's what he says. But in general, like, his career has not gone well as a result of it. It's not like it has been good for his personal life. Additionally, I think what it says is, somebody was explaining this to me, was that previously, one of the reasons that UFO legislation had gone down, the UAP Disclosure Act, was so pressured by the intelligence community, was specifically to stop them from the ability to uncover the very special access program that exists like right here.
There we go. How about that, Brian Pemble? You have your hand up, my friend.
Yeah, it seems to me that there is a constitutional crisis here. I think Rick's right, and I think Shellenberger's partially right, but I think he's missing the point. Rick makes a great point. If you look at Article 2, Section 2, the commander-in-chief, the president, is responsible for all of the military and everything else like that. So all that stuff that falls under the DoD, under the executive branch, Rick's right. All they have to do is report to the executive branch, and they've fulfilled their duties. But where Shellenberger's close, it's not Article 1, Section 1. I believe it's Article 1, Section 8, where all of the spending. Okay, so we don't know when Congress appropriates money. Okay, it's in the Constitution that they fund all of these branches and everything in the government. Okay, that's got to come from Congress, and they have to have oversight over it. Okay, and so if you have USAPs and WUSAPs where they don't know where the money's being spent, that's in my opinion, a congressional issue as far as Congress goes. But I think Rick is right. I don't think Article 1, Section 1 has anything to do with anything, but they could go after the spending, in my opinion. So I think that's where there's probably some disconnect with what Shellenberger was saying.
Absolutely. Great thoughts. Anyone want to respond on that one? All right. Yeah, it's an interesting situation. At least we've had something to talk about here. Again, I'll say that again, Brian. It's amazing to see there's some detail finally coming in on disclosure. It's something we've wanted to have moving forward for some time.
And even if I follow up with that real quick, Thomas, I'd be curious if anyone or Rick, I mean, is there any way that you're going to be able to pry these USAPs and WUSAPs out and get any of that information out, unless it's done via the executive branch or whistleblowers?
No, it's going to be done by whistleblowers or the executive branch. The executive branch can declassify and release the information. But if it's really sensitive and it's involving a special access program, highly classified, and we have some unique widget collecting all this data out there. We don't want the enemies to know that we have that widget that's capable of listening to the conversations of two extraterrestrials in a spacecraft over Turkey, or how we can determine what frequency they're talking on. And these are just hypotheticals, but we don't want the enemy to know that. So that information is properly classified, and the Congress doesn't have to have that information. They don't have to know it. They might have to know that we have the ability to do these things, but not specifically what what information we gather.
What say you, Brian?
Yeah, no, I agree, and I think probably the other thing that he knows, they need to know how the money is being spent, because that's, with them failing the audit, obviously Congress has got the power of the purse. So that's one thing that they've never exercised in quite some time, and they just don't seem to have a will to do it. And until they do that, I don't see any of that info coming out.
Gotcha, my friend. Yeah, it's a tough one. As we segue towards covering some of the news about the upcoming hearing and things that are coming on, I've got a different video clip here that I wasn't going to bring up. The one I had was made my eyes bleed. I'm sorry. The video quality was not to my standards. So I just want to go, I just found it over on YouTube. So let's just go ahead and play this. This is UFO whistleblower shares details of Immaculate constellation, tying into, also talking about the House UAP subcommittee next month. It looks like they've got up here. So let's see if we're getting a 2-for-1 special. I could be wrong, but I am playing this off the cuff. So let's play it and see where it takes us. Here we go.
To help break it all down, I'm joined now by the Hill opinion contributor and former analyst at the Departments of State and Defense, Merrick von Reinenkamp. Merrick, great to have you. What do you make of this? I mean, yet another person coming forward with a new story, but still basically of the same theme, that there's a secret Pentagon program with secret evidence that the public and lawmakers know nothing about.
That's right, Elizabeth, and you alluded to it a little bit in the kind of the opening to the segment. But what I like to maybe take a more of an analytic approach, and if we zoom out, in the news cycle, we focus on the latest breaking developments and the whistleblowers. But the smoke now around this UFO story is unbearable. It's choking. There is so much here. And again, from an analytic perspective, the system is blinking red, right? We have Chuck Schumer, the most powerful senator, who has proposed bipartisan legislation that says that the government has.
There's another picture that I've got some of potential jellyfish. And what it looks like it could be here too, that these things coming down are not like legs, but it's actually hauling bodies around. When I saw that was on there, we'll share that one after this is over.
Partisan legislation that says that the government has these secret, unreported UFO retrieval and reverse engineering programs. You have remarkable commentary from just about every single former national security official in recent years about UFOs. And just to maybe tie this in, we've heard from President Trump, President Obama. They've all made remarkable statements. It's an incredible shift from where we were over the last several decades.
Just so our viewers know, Merrick, go back to what former Presidents Trump and Obama have said, because I want to remind our viewers.
Yes, absolutely, and I want to tie this directly back to what Mike Shellenberger just said in that segment. And there was an incident reportedly, according to this new whistleblower, of F-22 fighter jets, truly our newest and most advanced fighter jets, basically being chased and shadowed by orbs. That's the allegation. President Trump has said the exact same thing. He said he has heard from Air Force F-22 pilots who had encounters with spherical objects. And if right now, if viewers go to arrow.mil, that is the U.S. government's UFO analysis office, the most commonly reported UFO is spherical, it's round, and apparently has some remarkable characteristics. So from again, I'll just
and what did
repeat
former
that
President
from
Obama say?
Hold on one thing here really quick. I just want to bring this out. That wasn't loud enough. Not nearly loud enough. But anyway, you get the point. I got to bring this out. One of the first reports we have of interaction between a plane and a UFO was the U.S. mail in Canada, up in Alaska, almost about 100 years ago, and the plane was forced down by orbs. So, yeah, it's an F-22 and they're boxing in the newest thing, but yeah, their technology is way advanced than ours. And what else have you ever heard about a plane being forced out? And this was actually forced down to land. The F-22, I believe, was boxed in, and they basically escorted and shoot him out of an area. You don't belong here. Move along. And we're like bodyguards. But anyway, let me get back to this. Sorry, I digress.
Former President Obama a few years ago said that there, I'm going to quote as directly as I can, but there is footage and records of objects in the skies, and we cannot explain how they moved and their trajectory. And he's also spoken about the implications if these UFOs, UAP, are indeed non-human, and that is the language that Chuck Schumer uses. He's openly discussed how that might change politics and how that might change our perspective on the cosmos. And it most certainly would have some pretty remarkable ramifications. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah, I think it feels like we've crossed a Rubicon here from, the days when anybody who said, I think there's evidence that there are UFOs or that aliens have visited Earth, which, by the way, it's incredibly, I think, prehistoric to think we're the only intelligent life in the entire universe. But we've crossed this Rubicon from thinking, oh, if you say something or believe something like that, where's your tinfoil hat, to now having not one but two, at least, former presidents of the United States, leading current members in high-ranking positions in Congress, who say there might be something here.
Absolutely.
Shit. Sorry about that.
To help break it all down, I'm joined now by...
Oh, Jesus Christ. Let me... Shit.
Anybody who said, I think there's evidence that there are UFOs, to think we're the only intelligent life in the entire universe. But we've crossed this Rubicon from thinking, oh, if you say something or believe something like that, where's your tinfoil hat, to now having not one but two, at least, former presidents of the United States, leading current members in high-ranking positions in Congress, who say there might be something here.
Absolutely. Again, the smoke is overwhelming. And to your point, I think the tinfoil hats should now be worn by the people who are denying that there's something to this story. It is just a remarkable switch. We went from in the 1950s and the 1960s to official debunking and obfuscation and truly ridicule. You can look this up. The first head of the CIA said openly that publicly, the government is ridiculing witnesses and individuals who've seen, and very credible folks, by the way. But behind the scenes, this is a direct quote. This is in CIA archives. You can find this, that behind the scenes, Air Force officers are soberly concerned, was the actual quote. So this is truly a remarkable shift. And I just want to drive this home, that this is truly bipartisan. We have John Brennan, the former CIA director, said that UFOs could, quote, constitute a different form of life. Pretty remarkable from a former CIA director.
Thanks so much for watching. Go to
there
join.
There you go. Hot off the presses. Yeah, aside from a couple hiccups along the way. Andy, you had your hand up, my friend.
Anybody who said...
Yeah, I'm just going to throw back to a comment you made in between that video of the F-22 being boxed in by the orbs. I'm more interested in actually where this occurred.
Yeah. Where were they shooing us away from?
Yeah, the actual location of where this occurred. if it was being shepherded away, which it looks like this was the possible act. It wasn't an overtly negative action. It wasn't anything military that was causing. They moved the aircraft out of an area. There's something about that area that they were protecting. So yeah, I'm interested in that.
Yeah, absolutely. They're shooing us away from somewhere. And this is one thing I can ask Rick. Rick, have we ever had domain over our full control over the domain in our skies? I don't think we ever have,
No,
have
never.
we? Never.
Never. The incident that I know, I don't know if this is the one they're referring to, but there were two F-22s that took off from Hickam Air Force Base in Hawaii because of a radar contact on something in northwest Hawaii, off the islands. And they got up there and they encountered orbs. And this was like in 2016, 2017 timeframe. George Knapp talks about this too, so I don't want to steal his thunder, but they don't know. Now I'm not sure if this is the one they're talking about, but I know about that incident.
Excellent. Yeah. Interesting times, to say the least. All right, let's go ahead and see what I can go ahead to find for us to cover. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. Pull this browser window out of here. Oh, God, I'm so glad I didn't play that one video, because it would have made all of our eyes bleed, and that's not fun. Where is it at? I've got another one coming up here. All right.
It's very simple.
Smorgasbord time. Lou made a recent appearance on... Let's try and get this up here, little son of a gun. Not opening. Oh, here we go.
If an NHI were to come down and say,
on
okay,
the Jesse
folks,
Michaels
this is
show. So let me go ahead and bring back this video, this little clip from the Jesse Michaels show, 54 seconds, where Lou is talking about... where are we at? The analogy to the C.S. Lewis Lord, Lair, or lunatic syllogism. Let's go ahead and see where that takes us on this one. This should be a fun one. Guest, here we go. Let's bring it up and let's, come on. Hey, play along. Here we go. Second, let's go.
But look, here's the bottom line, guys. It's very simple. It's really a binary choice. Either A, the reality is that UAP are here and they're doing what they're doing, or B, this is some form of mass hysteria. And if it is mass hysteria, that means you have trained pilots with top secret clearances flying live munitions over populated cities. You have weapons officers and you have Air Force nuclear technicians literally with their fingers on the nuclear button.
Yeah.
Right? You have admirals and generals. You have directors of CIA and directors of national intelligence that are all batshit crazy.
Right.
So choose your poison.
Yeah.
Which is a bigger problem? Well, first of all, what's even more scary, if it is a mass delirium, then we've got bigger problems on our hands. But look, here's the bottom.
So, good point, Rick. I mean, this is where the whole military credibility and everything that goes on with the military gets into it, but this is where Lou is laying it out on the table and saying, hey, we have all these people who do all these things, these important roles for the government, and they're all reporting what they're seeing. If they're all wrong, we've got a mental health crisis going on in our military, clearly. But if not, we've got a lot of good people coming forward that are trying to tell us the truth. Yet the government still keeps on trying to cover it up.
Yeah, I agree. We have the Captain Salas, who was a launch control officer for 10 Minuteman rockets inside a silo in Montana at Melstrom Air Force Base. We have Admiral Claudette. We have Admiral Carpenter, who was a submarine commander for 21 years, who talks about these underwater UFOs which defies gravity and threaten other ships.
Don't forget Colonel Carl Nell.
I was just going to say Colonel Nell. who was a special forces commander.
He headed up AFRICOM, didn't he?
AFRICOM, yeah. Plus, we have Lieutenant Colonel Corso. We have Lieutenant Colonel Whittle Stevens. We have countless directors and CIA officers, John Ramirez, many others that I know of, and I see them at the Advanced Working Group meetings. Former directors of the Central Intelligence, Admiral Bobby Inman, and I can go on and on.
Let's go way back in time. We have Admiral Byrd.
Yeah, good point.
From his follies down in Antarctica.
Yeah, the diary that he was keeping. He talked in that diary about strange occurrences in the skies that he couldn't explain. Yeah, exactly. So you go back to allegedly World War I. A particular French commander on the field saying, "What are these things flying? What are these things the Germans are sending over their orbs?" So, I mean, we can go on and on and on and on, talk about history, but you put this all together and you come up with the fact that we have been visited. If you knock off all the bullshit, excuse my language, but if you knock off all the crap and concentrate on what these people are saying and what they've seen, from myself to many other intelligence officers who talk about the same thing, listen to what Obama said. President Obama, former President Obama, said a lot more than what that reporter said. And he said there are things out there that I probably haven't been briefed on, but that exists. President Bush, too, he said the same thing. He said, I can't even talk about that stuff because it's still highly classified. Now, if there wasn't anything to it, Bush would have said, oh, no, that stuff is real. But on a late night show, David Letterman some years ago, President Bush said, I can't talk about that, it's still classified. So there's so much to this that we need some form of disclosure to satisfy the curiosity of the American public.
Yeah. Well, talk about curiosity. Well, this could be faked. You never know. It's just too good to pass up and not show and just take a look at. Let me go ahead and get desktop. I haven't done this one. Full guest. Here we go. Got to bring up this little bird. Rick. This one is from, why is it not letting me scroll on? Here we go. This one came out, not that one. This image came out recently, and it's talked about over at Unidentified Aerial Phenomena, supposedly high-res pictures of the orbs. And they've got the stuff hanging out, or the spheres, I mean, and they've got the stuff out hanging on the bottom of it. But is it this one, maybe? Oh, yeah, here we go. People are saying it looks like it's almost bodies hanging out. And if you kind of take a look at up in here, there's your heads. There's a head, there's another head over here. This could be the arms, and this almost looks like it's female. Not quite what that is or anything, but it's the images have been going around Twitter. Your thoughts on these, Rick?
Well, right now in the state of New Mexico, we have the 2024 hot air balloon fiesta. There's literally hundreds and hundreds of balloons that launch every morning and then in the evening from Albuquerque, New Mexico, the balloon park. And some of these balloons have odd shapes and designs. And there is one that looks exactly like this. Somebody brought that up and actually made a comparison on, I think it was Instagram. But so I've never seen anything like this in a classified document. So
gotcha.
I'm not saying it's not true,
Yeah,
I'm not saying that
it does
what you
look
just
like
said
something
is,
could
but-
potentially be AI though, but it it's just one of those things you look at. It's like, okay, it's cool, move it on until we can get something that's more factual besides this one photo. But it's anyway, sometimes you just see some of this stuff and it's worth going ahead and just taking a gander at. Let's see what else I've got going on here in the back of all the different stuff for us to go ahead and take a look at. Let's move along there.
And
okay, so here we've got. I don't think I've played this one here. This is a new one from NewsNation that I don't think we've played. Did we play
Matt
this
Gates one yet, Thomas? The
Which
Matt
one?
Gates the Matt Gates one.
Have we played this one yet, guys?
No.
I don't think we have. All right, let's go ahead and let me jump into this.
Politics now.
This piece right now, and let's talk about a little bit more. Just rehash about the same stuff about the upcoming hearings, which we didn't cover in last one. I was going to talk about the hearings and the UAP retrieval program. Then we've got news on the hearings and stuff coming up shortly. Let's go ahead and play this one. Here we go, folks.
Congress will return to Washington after the presidential election. And when lawmakers do come back, the House Oversight Subcommittee that's been looking into unidentified...
Sorry about this. My volume is not...
And to politics now, Congress will return to
Increasing.
Washington after the presidential election. And when lawmakers do come back, the House Oversight Subcommittee that's been looking into unidentified aerial phenomenon, or UAPs, will continue its work. NewsNation correspondent Joe Khalil is live on Capitol Hill. So, Joe, what is the status of the committee's work? And do we know what they'll be focusing on when they're back in D.C.?
Yeah, so there's a lot that Congress is going to have on its plate when they come back after the election. But this UAP topic is going to be one of those agenda items. We've confirmed that both in the House and in the Senate, there are currently being planned hearings on this topic. In the House, it should be in the House Oversight Committee, which is the same committee, by the way, that held that blockbuster hearing last year. You're seeing images of it right now featuring that whistleblower, David Grush, who came forward on NewsNation first. It's going to be a little bit of different players, but some of the same lawmakers. This time around, Congresswoman Nancy Mace is going to be leading this hearing. November 13th was their goal date, but I'm told that's not set in stone yet. I have spoken to Congresswoman Mace about this. She says there are still a couple of witnesses that they want to pin down. They didn't give any details yet about what they're going to want to focus on, but she said the witness list still in flux, partly because they don't want to reveal who they may be talking to in fear of those people being potentially intimidated out of testifying at some point. Another piece that may or may not be part of this hearing is the new reporting from Michael Shellenberger. And you may have seen this on NewsNation, the independent journalist reporting that a whistleblower has come forward to Congress revealing what he says is the existence of an illegal and classified program that's known as Immaculate Constellation. Shellenberger's reporting says that this whistleblower claims that program is, in fact, a reverse engineering UAP program that is currently being run. The fact that he named it was something new. We hadn't seen anything like that before. So that whistleblower coming forward, Congress, we've spoken to a couple of members here. They have questions about it. They want to learn more about it. This is what Shellenberger told our Ross Coulthard about why it was important to cover that story specifically. Take a listen.
So whether or not you think there are extraterrestrials or non-human intelligence or anything, even if you think that all of this is just some sort of advanced craft, the allegation here by a new whistleblower verified by other sources in a position to know is that the Pentagon the Defense Department has withheld, kept secret this information from Congress, which is a violation of the Constitution and illegal.
The Pentagon vehemently denying that this program exists. They say they've got no record ever of any program with that name. So interesting when Congress comes back. We'll see how they handle this.
Yeah, we certainly will. All right, Joe Khalil, live for us in Washington.
There you go. Our next piece. Yeah. News on the front has definitely picked up. Yeah, Badger, send it across. And yeah, Cookie, yeah, I'll reply to your email this time. I am so
There's
bad.
a video that's sent in the chat, Thomas. I sent a video in the chat.
Oh, where from? Who was it of?
This from Matt Gates.
I've got that one. In due time, Nick, we'll get there. I've got a lot of stuff that I've put together here shortly. So, yeah, Harold, let's laugh. Let's have some fun with it. All right. Let's see if I can find it here with Matt Gates. Oh, there's that one. I got that one. Still, we haven't gotten through. Oh, okay. I'll go to it. Is it the last thing you put in, Nick? Copy, link address. Fingers crossed. Let's see where this takes us. Where am I at? Which tab am I on? Nope, not that one. Here we go. I can get rid of the Aurora guy. Oh, yeah, this one. I saw it. All right, so here we have a 38-second clip of Matt Gates. I thought I bookmarked this one. It's probably in my other bookmarks. Let me get to this right now. Let me get, no, not that one. Video, full guest. All right, let's go ahead and play this. We have a 38-second clip of Matt Gates getting interviewed at the Benny Show. It's talking about UFOs and the knowledge and CIA, etc. Let's have some fun with this piece. Since I don't know the Benny Show, you guys are going to get a fair use. Let's go ahead and play this.
What about UFOs? Well, we're learning more each and every day. You're getting the titrated leaking on the UFOs. Like, it's now open source information that the CIA has a program around craft recovery. It's not a question anymore. And so that's probably where I would start: the craft recovery and the biologics that have been taken from those crafts.
Are people going to be ready for that?
I think you got to let it out there. You don't inure to the benefit of the citizenry by keeping those kind of secrets from them. And look,
what about UFO?
Yeah. So, crash recovery and biologics. In other words, let's stay clear of the reverse engineering, because the military are playing with that and the DOE is playing with that. At least let's talk about part of the puzzle. Susan Ford, you have your hand up, my dear lady. Sorry I didn't call on you sooner.
That's okay. I just wanted to mention, I read somewhere that Barack Obama purchased the rights to Betty and
Barney Hill's
story.
Yeah. Is it Obama, or I believe it's the Obamas, and I think it's actually something to do with, isn't it to deal with something Michelle is doing?
I don't know, but
Yeah,
that's very
I believe so.
interesting. Just saying. It's just one of those little things to put in the back, you know.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Thank you for bringing that up. Absolutely. Nick, you have your hand up, my friend?
Yes. And like you said, if you can handle it, actually, I live. Some people couldn't handle this. I think.
I think with all the stuff going on in the world, with how advanced we are, it'd be more shocking if it came out for people to say, "Yeah, there's nothing out there. We're completely alone. We've done everything. There's absolutely nothing here." But if there is something here, it's something that it can actually. What the governments don't like the idea potentially is unite humanity. That's where people let's think about the countries and we all think about us as one race of humans.
Rick, Rick, do you know who's going to be at the hearings, Rick? Do you have an idea of?
No, I don't know.
Nice. All right, so let me see what else we've got to go on here. Well, this is something that I haven't seen before. It is from a little over a week ago, but we haven't been around for a week, so really, let's go ahead and talk about this one. This is a really blurry clip. I'm sorry about this. some tissues to keep your eyes if they're bleeding. This is Chris Cuomo talking with Reality Check. Actually, not Reality Check, talking with Ross Coulthart, I believe, on Reality Check, talking about 2 fighter jets that went missing in Puerto Rico because of a football field-sized UFO. I haven't heard this one before. I'm sure you've heard about this one before, Rick.
Yeah, this.
Uh-oh. I think he crashed. He crashed. It's a hardware issue. I saw his machine struggling a little bit tonight. He'll be back. Well, there he is, almost. Bad data connection, maybe? I don't know. You may have to
his computer or his internet. It's one of the other.
Yeah, one of the others. Yeah. Hey, Mike, good to see you, my friend.
Oh, I've been here the whole time.
I know. Well, you weren't there earlier. I called on you a couple times.
In the beginning, but I came right in after that. But you had a great conversation with you and Rick, so.
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, but you've got a lot of insight on some of the stuff that's going on. Let's just play this clip here since I've already done the intro on it again, talking about 2 fighter jets that went missing in Puerto Rico because of a football field-sized UFO. Nice.
I never heard of that one.
Neither have I. I have not heard about that one in the past either. So let's get that one up here. Video full, and it's small, and it'll make our eyes bleed. Okay, but it's 2 minutes, so let's listen in.
What is the scariest suggestion you've ever been given by a source?
Well, David reinforced something I'd been told previously. David Grush told me in the interview that there have been occasions when the phenomenon has hurt humans and indeed killed humans. And it's interesting because if you go into the military archives of the United States, there are many incidents where US military, particularly US pilots, have either disappeared or crashed in strange circumstances. One of the incidents I was talking to somebody about yesterday was in Puerto Rico, where 2 US fighter jets allegedly disappeared engaging what report witnesses said was a gigantic football field-sized craft hovering in the sky. Now, the US at the time obviously...
Okay, so we've got some clarity on that, plus it's too long. This has been going since I need to actually go ahead and say something here. Let me go ahead and get it up and going. Where is that at? Just to be careful. There he is. Let's continue on with that. Oh, and Faisal just sent across a super chat for $9.99. Thank you very much, Faisal. Appreciate your love and support for everything Disclosure. Second super chat tonight. Thank you very much, sir. Let's go ahead and continue on with this clip.
Denied that this engagement occurred, but the source that I'm speaking to says he knew that 2 pilots disappeared from the flight line and were officially declared missing. Now, there are these incidents all the way through US military history. And indeed in my country, there's a case, a very famous case in 1978. I'm sure people will correct me if I'm wrong. A young pilot called Frederick Valentich was flying over Bass Strait between the island of Tasmania and the mainland of Australia. And he reported to the air traffic control at Moorabbin in Melbourne that he was being hovered over by a gigantic craft. And in the course of the conversation, all of a sudden a metallic noise was heard. The audio of that exchange is publicly available, and it's quite frightening. Something, he claimed, was hovering above his aircraft, and then he and his aircraft disappeared and were never seen again. These are incidents all over the world.
Yeah, interesting. So we've lost some pilots. How many pilots has a non-human intelligence lost to us, Mike? Would you say it's possibly there's more of them than we've gotten than they've gotten of us?
Oh, absolutely. That's the case. Yeah. But we've had private conversations, if you remember exactly that equation between us and them.
Yeah.
And maybe why the escalation has been going on and what's pissing them off.
Yeah.
It probably has a lot to do with it.
Yeah. Yeah, talking about us and them, sometimes we have to look to our past to understand our future. Something I've said a bunch of times here that I project. And let me go ahead and where's this desktop document? Let's bring this up. So we have 3 things from in the caves. One in clay, one in Japan, one in Utah, and another one in Azerbaijan. This isn't coincidences here. There was clearly something that humanoid in form that had these big things coming off its head, not quite antlers or whatever it is. But can you see the similarity going in 3 different places? Completely huge spaces between them, Mike.
It's completely, it's definitely not unrelated, Thomas.
Yeah.
It has to be a connection. I mean, follow the evidence.
Yeah. It's like the old song, which one of these is like the others?
Yeah.
This one, which one of these is not the same, but they're all the same. They all kind of line up. So, yeah, I've got a bunch of little tidbits here for us to go through on news. Let's get back to the desk chat again. Oh, where am I at? Oh, no, don't. Did I just do that? Did. All right, where am I at next? All right, let's bring this up. We've talked about this one, Mike.
Yeah.
Remember, we've got the deadline coming up for the, where are they going to again? All the different, to the National Archives, right?
Yes.
And all the information is supposed to get there.
Correct. We talked about this.
And we're like, yeah, I'll believe it. We'll believe it when we see it, right?
Right. That's right.
Yeah. Well, that's where we're at. Apparently, they're going to take another year, aren't they, Mike? Or
yes,
whenever they get there.
They were mandated to have a deadline to release UFO files from the list of agencies included in the UAPDA, and that time has come and gone. And now they're saying maybe another year, because this legislation was written with no terms of enforcement to force them to comply.
Why would you want to have terms of enforcement?
Well, I guess if you want to let them just ignore it, then you wouldn't.
Yeah. So now they have until September 30th, 2025.
Yeah, don't hold your breath. But you and I have been laughing about this privately for a while now.
And you know what information they're going to pass along? Balloons, meteors, other things that are obvious, that solar effects, atmospheric effects. Oh, you mean like swamp gas? Yeah.
Well, you've made points like this plenty of times on the show. And you said, stop showing the prosaic answers. We don't want to see that. We want to see the ones that are not prosaic, that you can and cannot explain, but they seem to like to always give us these asinine balloon explanations or swamp gas or Venus or any of the above, but that's not the point of, let's say, Arrow that did this all the time. They would give us explanations for things that are readily identified, but that's not what the purpose and investigation was supposed to do. They never gave us anything that they couldn't explain. Kept that buried nice, tight, and deep. You could thank Kirkpatrick for that. And you're going to be able to thank him again, because it seems like he and Susan Goff are going to be making a worldwide display. They're making appearances that are coming out soon, and they're going to be talking about all the disinformation that's been ongoing, and they're continuing to spread.
Got that here somewhere. I know I do.
Yeah, the announcement. Yeah.
Oh, is that the one I accidentally lost?
Could be. That's not beyond the realm of possibility, but I have a question.
No, not that one. No. There is a lot. Here we go. There's just a lot of stuff here that we haven't covered. We haven't been around for a while, Mike. So,
yeah.
And actually, I just went and reorganized all my Twitter bookmarks into separate folders.
Okay.
Yeah, so I may have put some stuff in the wrong order, but I found it.
Good.
I found it. Oh, but the text is so small, it's going to make... I'm going to have to find my glasses. Because no one's going to be able to read this. All right, but I should be able to read it. Let me go ahead and bring it up anyway. Desktop document. Oh, no, you guys aren't going to be able to see that. This is about as big as it's going to get. Let me do this. Can I make it bigger? No. It's going to be the same no matter what I do here. Desktop document. All right. It's about the same size. Close enough. Anyway, so we have a letter here from Susan. Well, this is just the one about, never mind. This is the one about Susan Goff. But both when the name of the program, Eminent Constellation, came out, two people pushed back. Susan Goff, who we have a statement from Sue, going ahead and making a responsive response to Michael Shellenberger about it. And there was also, and of course, the OD doesn't know anything. There's no classified program. There's no USAP. There's nothing by the name of that program. We don't know anything. As you know, that we've looked for this stuff. There's nothing out there. We don't have any records. ARO hasn't found, well, I can play this. ARO's statement is, "We ain't found shit." Oh, that's loud. And they are nothing but professional.
A bullshit artist.
Bullshit artists.
Kirkpatrick, exactly.
Yeah. Even though Kirkpatrick has left ARO, he's no longer consulting for ARO, right?
Correct.
No, he's not.
Nope,
and then you've
not.
got, and he's moved on to Oak Ridge Labs, where he's actually like a chief technology officer for part of Oak Ridge Labs.
Right.
And there is a new director at ARO. Kozlowski. What's his name again?
Joe Kozlowski.
I got it. Kozlowski. Yeah.
You got it. Good one.
Yeah. Okay. Kozlowski. And he's the new head of ARO.
He is.
He doesn't make a statement. He doesn't make a statement to push back.
No.
They frickin' bring back Kirkpatrick on his leash. And they have him bark out something to go ahead and push back on it. Susan Goff pushes back on it. It's like, we don't want to hear, I don't know why he's got to be on someone's payroll, or they have to have some really good dirt on him, I would think.
Yeah, something. But I've heard rumors that he always felt that even though he has a scientific background, that he always wanted to be James Bond. It's why he dresses in those cheap suits. He wants to be a spy. So he likes pushing this disinformation.
Yeah.
He's doing it for free, obviously. So it's a personality quirk for him. Susan Goff found the right individual to do this.
I can do this. I can do this. Oh, I'm not going to do that now. Nope, 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 nope. You get rid of that down. Let me get across to here. I got the file, new document. Is this here? Got it. Okay. Here we go. I was able to get it. View. Where's the zoom at? 125. Go to 150%, so everybody can read along. Okay, sorry about the bad formatting, but at least we got it there. This is coming from Sue Goff. She's no longer Susan Goff. She's now Sue Goff, right?
That's right. She wants to be more personable to the public.
Yeah. So sorry I wasn't able to get to you earlier today. I see you've published. Can you please update your story? You may attribute the response to your questions below to me, Sue Go, Department of Defense spokesperson. Question. Has the DoD violated the Constitution or broken laws in failing to inform Congress about a USAP relating to UAPs. Sue's answer, I like that she put her answers in quotes. That means she's serious. Let's get to it. To date, like we're going to believe this, to date, the department has found no evidence of the existence of any classified U program, including any SAP or controlled access program related to UAP that has not been properly reported to Congress. Well, he's asking about a USAP, not about a CAP. Right?
Oh, an SAP, correct.
Right. There's the first one, folks. Quote, I refer you to the findings of RO's historical report. Volume 1, available on ro.mil. Should DOD find anything that revises these findings, we will appropriately share the information promptly with Congress, subject to classification and access limitations, so as to protect sensitive sources and methods. Isn't it always the excuse? We will also make as much information available to the public as possible, which right now is nothing because it seems like that nothing is possible. Let's move on. Question, does the DOD have a USA... Come on. My mouse is being a pain. I have to bring out the yellow one. All right. Does the DOD have a USAP called Immaculate Constellation, researching UAPs? The DOD has no record, present or historical, of any type of SAP called Immaculate Constellation. Could she be getting around by saying it's any type of SAP is a USAP, a type of SAP? Probably not.
An unacknowledged special access program? The whole key word in that key operating word in that sentence is unacknowledged.
No
yes,
record.
There's a difference between that and a special access program.
Yeah. Next question. Does the DOD have a database of videos and images using infrared, FLIR, which is forward-looking infrared, full motion video, and still photography of UAPs? If there is a database, does it describe in detail various UAPs and UAP incidents? Sorry, we're losing an A in there. That was because I copied and pasted this out of an image. Let's get on to it. Coming from Sugo. Goff. I'm sorry, it's Goff like a cough. RO's files contain all available data related to each UAP case, regardless of modality or classification. I refer you to the Office of the Director of National Intelligence concerning intelligence community databases. Regards, Sue Goff. Defense Press Operations, Office of the Assistant Secretary of Defense for Public Affairs. Her old title was, she was a PAO, Public Affairs Officer.
Right.
So she's moved.
It sounds like she got a promotion.
Well, she's now from Defense Press Operations. Maybe that's what PAO is. We'll get to it. So, yeah, more denials. We are so far up denial. We are in Ethiopia. Hollywood.
Yeah.
Lake Titicaca. No, that's not Lake Titicaca. There's another one that's up there. Titicaca's down in South America. Harold, go ahead.
That whole statement to me, it just seems completely obtuse, man. Nothing in there relates to reality at all.
Yeah. 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 It's like she almost needs a reality check, Harold.
There you go. Good one.
Oh, yeah. Come on, go back. No, go forward. Where is I at? Let's see what else I have in here. Everyone is all about Shellenberger this week. Are you surprised, Mike?
No, not at all. But that's also because this got a lot of attention. It had a big impact on the internet. And people are desperate for more information because he basically teased a lot of what people have been looking and hoping that information would become public. And they haven't gotten it completely.
Yeah.
What's known right now about an Immaculate constellation as far as the public? It's a unacknowledged special access program that Shellenberger broke the story on. He also recruited his own whistleblower that wrote a report of classified information about this USAP and submitted it to Congress. But other than that, what's publicly known about this Immaculate Constellation program? Not much.
Not much, except let me bring up the document on this one. I found out where it is. Here we go. If you look, this is what we were talking about before. This is the Google search history for Immaculate Constellation, just so you can see the actual report of what they were actually talking about in that video piece a little bit ago. That's showing that interest over time starting from October 6, 2019 up until the present day, that we had a blip somewhere in 2023 where there were a bunch of requests being made for Immaculate Constellation. So someone found out about it, someone talked to somebody about it, or someone's, and there was some, what do you want to call it? There was some research, people who were doing some research on it.
What did they find?
Nothing.
Not a crumb, nothing?
Well, we don't know. We don't have what the actual results were at that time. All we can find is there were keyword searches for Immaculate Constellation at that time.
Right. And then Shellenberger came out recently, but we still don't really know.
This came out after Shellenberger came out. This report.
Yeah. Shellenberger broke the story on it, but they were looking for this search phrase before Shellenberger came out.
Oh God, yeah, 2023.
Right, and people have been saying that it was this name of this program was leaked by David Grush when he testified a year ago at the congressional hearing.
Okay,
but I didn't hear him mention this name. Did you?
No, I did not.
Did he ever have any backroom disclosures? I know he was talking about it, but did that ever happen? And
we don't know.
Those people leaked it.
Nothing ever came out publicly.
If he did, people have done really good keeping their mouth shut about it.
It's interesting to me that a lot of those searches happened next to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, right? It could have been one of those things where someone was working on a program, they told their buddy maybe or something, they got drunk, told their buddy. Next thing you know, the buddy's telling his buddy's telling his buddy, and they're like, dude, I got to go Google search this. Maybe something like that happened.
That's what I don't have as a list of all the locations the searches were made. That'd be a good find. We can probably maybe find that one for tomorrow.
Well, I have some information on that tonight if you want.
Yeah, take it, Mike.
Sure. So the point that I was leading up to is that the story broke about this USAP. The name of the program, Immaculate Constellation, came out. We know that there's a whistleblower who wrote this information out to Michael Shellenberger. But the report that was submitted to Congress and the report that Shellenberger has a copy of, have you heard any of the media outlets covering this tell you what the size of that report was?
No, no one said how many pages it was.
Right. It's 25 pages.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not a large report.
I was almost going to say, I haven't heard anyone say that it's 25 pages, Mike.
It's 25 pages.
Yep.
And Shellenberger's in possession of it. Now, the other thing is, what exactly, we heard on the clips that you were playing that Immaculate Constellation, Shellenberger described it as a parent SAP for other sub-SAPs that involve reverse engineering and crash retrievals. But then he also went in to explain that specifically the report that was written by the whistleblower for this program, the parent program, Immaculate Constellation, had to do with the collection of UAP sensor data from the United States ability to watch and monitor all UAP. And that's what this report is covering. That information is about our collection platforms and how we're able to track these UAP, regardless if they could be seen or not. And then it also has to do with our collection platforms and our technology that could track these UAP are able to do and monitor the effect that these UAP are having on our atmosphere around the world.
Yep.
But that's also information that did not come out publicly, and the government never admitted that. So now that information in breadcrumbs and bits and pieces has been dropped all over the internet. But that's basically as far as it goes, because no one knows anything more about Immaculate Constellation, and everyone is very curious. I can tell you that Immaculate Constellation is run under the U.S. Air Force's technological initiatives. And this specifically has to do with satellite systems, space-based communications, and tracking objects and threats in and from space. And do you know where this program, since it's for the Air Force, is based out of? Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Dayton, Ohio. So if you look, you can actually find more about this. But if you talk to Susan Goff, she'll tell you, we've never heard of it before. It doesn't exist. It exists. And that's right where it is, in plain sight.
She just can't mention it because it's not acknowledgeable. They can't acknowledge it. It's an unacknowledged, which means you can't acknowledge it.
Right.
Right?
But it is, exactly. But now we know that it is run under the Air Force. It is run out of Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. And specifically, the function of this program is to monitor and track objects in and out of space and here on the Earth.
Right. But it also sounds like it's got reverse engineering components to it and recovery.
No, it is a parent USAP. It has sub USAPs underneath it. And those sub USAPs run reverse engineering and crash retrievals, but they're compartmentalized. Is that a shock or a surprise to you, Thomas?
No, so it's more stovepipes.
Yes, that's exactly how it's run, and that's how it's set up.
Yeah.
Right, which is very interesting. So now when we have this upcoming public hearing, people are expecting this unknown whistleblower to be one of the witnesses.
If the left hand isn't talking to the right, how in the hell do they go to the bathroom?
Yeah. You and I have had private conversations about this, and you know that the actual whistleblower himself is not going to be testifying publicly. That's the last thing he's on his mind right now.
Yeah.
So you and I both are well aware of he's not going to be at that hearing.
So we'll throw that out there now and say the wonderful whistleblower who just came forward from Shellenberger, not going to be at the hearing.
Correct.
Let's keep our fingers crossed on that one. Or not. Right. We'll put it up on the chalkboard. How about that? We could be right. We could be wrong. We'll see. But
no, we're right, and I could prove it because we know that he's not looking to be confrontational with the government. So the last thing he wants to do at this point is go to the public hearing.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen.
Yeah. You're as confident about this as you are with the frying pan.
Yeah, that's about right. I'd agree with that.
Can I jump in here?
Yeah, take it.
Go right ahead.
Go ahead, Rick. Welcome back. Uh-oh. What happened?
His internet connection must have crapped out again.
Nope. Oh, he's there. Almost.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I know. I have our internet service, Red Bolt, is putting in new lines, and they the fiber optics, and when they shut one off, sometimes to connect, sometimes our internet goes down. So,
well, that
that's
stinks.
the problem.
Hopefully they
But
can get it
anyways,
taken care of, and hopefully
yeah.
they don't have you on a circuit that's too overloaded, which we know they like to do.
No, yeah, I know that's true.
Or heavily monitored by the NSA. Could be
Well,
overloaded, is right, Thomas.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is.
Go ahead, Rick. You wanted to chime in.
Yeah, I just want to say that what I said earlier about we know who the whistleblower is. He's very well known within our circles.
I know.
Yeah,
But he's
so,
also he also has a lot of. Go ahead. Go ahead.
And so he talks about not just Immaculate Constellation, but also the other programs, the sub-programs, Immaculate Polaris, Immaculate Photon, Dynamic Chess, and Dynamic Zeus, which involves recovery operations and specific reverse engineering projects.
Gotcha.
So based on your experience, Rick, I have a question for you. Now that the information has been coming out the way that it has about this USAP, and everyone all over the internet is talking about Immaculate Constellation, we now know that it was run from your old job, the U.S. Air Force, out of Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, and it's under special technology. So is it a coincidence, in your opinion, that the Air Force seems to be at the heart of all of these USAPs and reverse engineering and crash retrievals that's coming public now? It doesn't shock you, does it?
No, it doesn't. It's run out of the Foreign Technology Division of Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. And there's a lot of highly classified programs run out of that. In fact, there's some cover programs that NRO has that's connected to Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Although the NRO is actually running it, the Air Force is putting their name on projects for NRO.
Well, because they have access to NRO and NGA, the Air Force.
Right, exactly.
I know. You're right. So, yeah. But it seems to all be zeroing in on the same target. It goes right back to the Air Force, which, by the way, their track record publicly sucks. They're the only branch of the military that refuses to acknowledge any information regarding UAP, as opposed to the Navy or the Army or other branches. The Air Force has been strangely silent on this, but it goes right back to them as far as who's running these operations. Interesting, isn't it, Rick?
Yeah, it is very interesting. Space Force initially a couple of years ago, 2022, said, hey, we're open to questions. We're going to talk about what we know. And then 2 months later, they shut up. No, we're not going to talk about it.
Well, I think the Air Force had something to do with that, don't you?
Oh, absolutely. Yep.
Got a little too close to home, but Thomas pointed out about Space Force that Space Command, that they made a public announcement, right, Thomas?
Yeah, that was on the Friday before the UFO hearing a year ago last spring. So, yeah. They basically came out and said, yeah, we've been aware of it. We're trying to figure it out. We're working. It's a matter of national security, and we're working with our partner. It's not just a problem in the United States, that it's a global issue, and we're working with our partners around the world to try and figure this out.
Right. And then according to Rick, the Air Force stepped in and shut them up. That was the last time we heard something like that from them publicly, right?
Yeah. Well, they do report to the Air Force, don't they?
They do.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. But either way, they came out, they made a press statement, they didn't do a retraction, and it flies directly in the face of that schmuck known as Sean Kirkpatrick.
Funny how that seems to always come up. Must be a coincidence.
Yes, it is. It is. Hey, have you heard the news?
What?
Actually, it looks like Starship might fly on Sunday.
Oh, that would be interesting.
That's the one. They're still going to bring down a Starship in the ocean somewhere, but they're actually going to bring back that big, what do you call it, the big rocket, and they're going to try and land it with the chopstick arms that's going to grab it like a husky. and set it down on the ground.
Huh. That's like something out of a movie.
Oh, heck yeah. It is, isn't it?
And it's real life, which is really, it's surreal.
Oh, gosh, I know. Absolutely. Yeah, a bunch of other stuff here we can get to tomorrow. We've had a good broadcast so far. We've got other stuff still to talk about for tomorrow. Some interesting facts. We've got Falcon Space. Remember them? We had
Jared
Yates on here, and they are actually was talking about getting the little arts parts, those UFO samples.
Right.
Putting under an electron scanning microscope and an X-ray diffraction analysis system.
Yes.
They did it. And there is a gallery of 50-plus photos from Tim Ventura. We're going to cover that tomorrow.
Oh, that'll be good. That'll be fun.
Yeah. We got some more stuff coming up from Lou. We got some more quotes from him from some of his recent broadcasts. He's on. I mean, Lou was even on. Who was she on? He was with the Sheldon's wife from Big Bang Theory.
Oh, Mayim Bialik.
Yep.
Dr. Bialik. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a neurologist, isn't she?
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
Just like the part she played on the Big Bang Theory.
Yeah. I don't think she was a neurologist on that one though.
She was. She had the brains with Sheldon, remember? All the time in the laboratory. She was.
Oh, yeah.
So she wasn't acting at that point.
No, not at all.
But that was a good interview that she had with Lou.
Yes, got some cool science news. Actually, I'll bring it out now, right now. I'll save it for tomorrow. Some cool stuff. Actually, why not? Last thing for the night.
Yes, sir. We
always thought that trigonometry was invented by the Greeks.
Correct.
Well, apparently, it seems that the Babylonians created a trigonomic table that is more accurate than the Greek method. And this is like thousands of years before the Greeks. It avoids irrational numbers, Rick, since you do math. It avoids irrational numbers and provides exact ratios.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So I bring up the tablet that they found with the tables and everything on it. Oh, where is that?
How old is it? How far back does it date?
3,700 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. So here is the doctor who figured it out, and or the person holding up the actual tablet. It's there. It's real. It's happened. So we always think that we look back and say, well, the Greeks invented all this stuff. This is where it came from. These are the first people to figure it out. No, it was figured out thousands of years before the Greeks. A more advanced method of math.
Wow.
Yeah. Fun stuff.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
It really is.
Yeah, absolutely. And we also have a slew of pictures from the Aurora Borealis that I've got a huge collection I've put together. We'll go through that tomorrow as well. It should be a fun show. 2 p.m. Pacific for everyone who wants to come out and hang out and talk about Disclosure and any breaking updates at that time. Is there anything from anyone else in the back? Going once.
Speak
twice.
now or forever hold your peace.
All right. It sounds like it's been a good show so far. Yeah, I'm back. Not completely. I'm looking a little bit better than I did at the start of the show. Yeah, man, I was looking like shit again, but that's how it goes sometimes. On that note, I want to thank everybody for your wonderful super chats tonight. Holy cow. Yeah, the system was screwed up. A bunch of names are missing. I'll have to figure out why. I'll just go ahead and I want to go ahead and bring up, again, make sure it's not too loud and it's not too quiet. There we go. Let's look at fan funding, who gave us some super chats tonight. Let's go ahead in order of delivery. Let's go ahead and thank Ian Harding, Anonymous Rex, FaZe Will, Brian Pemble, Rick Doty, Reality Check VIP, Wildcat Mahone, Firefly, and FaZe Will again. My gosh, what a great show. What a great support for everything we do here at Disclosure tonight. We're so humbled and thankful by everyone's love and support. If you haven't subscribed yet, do us a favor, folks. Hit that subscribe button. If you haven't given us a like yet, well, we still have over 223 people watching. 84 likes. Do us a favor. Give us a thumbs up. It helps the algorithm so more people will our show will be shared with more people. On that note, I want to go ahead and thank the people in the back who have been part of the show and and talked with us midstream. Let's go ahead and thank Andy W. Thanks for coming out tonight, Andy. Andy fell asleep. Brian Pemble, thanks for coming out tonight, Brian.
Hey, absolutely. Great show. It's good to see Rick again. And Rick, I'm sorry you had to go through that. That's a load of crap. I'm just glad everything's okay and in good hands. So it's good to see you.
Yeah, absolutely. Hollywood Harold, thanks for coming out tonight, Harold.
Sure thing, Thomas. I've been itching all week to get some disclosure. I was having a nervous breakdown up there.
Oh, you should have reached out sooner, my friend. You've got my number.
I hate to bother people and stuff, but I appreciate all your well wishes and stuff.
Oh,
great show tonight. Great show.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And there is no place like home. There is no place like home. Also, thank you, Laura Campbell, for coming out tonight, Laura.
Oh, another great night. We need more viewers watching this because you dropped so much info tonight. My head's full.
Well, I'm glad you had a fun time, my dear lady. Nick, thank you for coming out. Oh, let's go down next in the list. None of your business. Thanks for your questions tonight, my dear lady.
You're welcome, Thomas. What a great show. It is so good to see everyone.
Yeah. Syrup, thanks for being here.
Hey, great show tonight, Thomas. Appreciate you, man.
And Andy, I see that you rejoined. Thanks for coming out tonight, my friend.
Yeah, having internet issues. Hopefully you can hear me. My camera's not working, but yeah.
Oh, that's fine, my friend. We got you. We got you.
There we are. Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Me mic wasn't working.
Yeah, thank you for being here, my friend. Absolutely. What a great show. What a great time. Mike and Rick, thanks for coming out, guys. This is a great show.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it, and it was great seeing Rick come back after all this time. Like we had a family reunion.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. I think I have two different internet systems. I'm on a different one now, so I should be good throughout the rest of the time on. So thanks for having a great show tonight, Thomas.
Yeah.
And it was so wonderful seeing everyone, and I'll try to be more of a frequent guest from now on.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Rick. Mike, thanks for coming out tonight as well.
Oh, it was a lot of fun, Thomas. I'm glad to see you feeling better.
Oh, yeah. If I'm not on the show, that means there's something not good.
Obviously.
Yeah, and we'll get there one way or the other. Well, thanks for coming out tonight. We appreciate everyone coming out to this episode of Disclosure tonight. As I usually stumble over the words trying to get out of here. Eyes open, no fear, be safe, everyone. But
go back to Party City where you belong.
Absolutely, we'll catch you on the flip side. We will see you tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. When is that? Oh, yeah, 2 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. London time. Good night, everybody. Love you. Y'all come back now. Here. Good night. Bye-bye.